Cetin, welcome on, brother.
Thank you,
Uh,
brother.
you just mentioned this was one of your goals when you joined Artisan Lab, which was about 4 months ago. Is that right?
Yes, 3, 4 months ago, I guess. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, my favorite question of the interview, how much money did you make last month?
I made $20,000 or 20-ish thousand dollars.
Awesome.
It's
And
amazing.
what were you making 4 months ago when you joined?
Well, when I joined, I actually gave you my first $5,000. I actually need to borrow money from my dad to join, but yeah.
Wow, bro. I
Yes.
remember that on our first call when you were like, yeah, this is like all of my money.
Yeah,
And
it
you made it
was.
work, bro.
Sorry?
And I said, then you made it work.
Yeah, I made it. I mean, I needed to. Now it's time for 6 figures months.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Why don't you fill everybody in on the last 3, 4 months? What's happened for you? What have you been working on? How's the business look, etc.
Yeah, so when I joined, I had this one client that I kind of signed, and I made $5,000 from there to actually join Artisan Lab. And then essentially, we did a new launch with him, which was an event funnel or a challenge funnel. There's a lot of names. And we collected around $200,000 from there. And my part was, again, 20-ish K. And, obviously, the challenge funnel has been popping off like a lot of times right now. So I'm glad I got into it a little bit earlier. And so yeah, it's right now time to kind of scale that client to at least I want consistent 200K a month. So I can make consistent 20K a month just off that client, and time to get like two or three more clients to run it up again.
Yes, sir. How was it running the challenge funnel? Because you made what 200 in the span of like 3 to 5 days.
Yeah, so it was like 7 days that we opened the kind of sales cycle. It
Yeah.
was it was obviously hard for the first time, but then you get used to it. For example, right now we're also preparing for a new launch. We are aiming for at least 7 figures this launch. I will keep you updated on that. But right now it's way easier. Like last time it took me like maybe a day to create the whole funnel. Right now it literally took me 30 minutes to create everything.
Yeah. Once you have the template, you can just reuse it over and over. Like that's the same thing that I've done with webinars. I had the winner and then I just kind of rode that. And as far as scaling for you, bro, like it's just a matter of you finding a couple more clients that are really solid that you
Yeah.
can use the same system with.
Yeah.
And you might find one that like, holy shit, this works even better than I anticipated. And you reach 6 figures a month relatively quickly. Uh,
Bro, you know what is the funny thing? Like I'm really close to signing like a big client right now or a few clients even. But the funny thing is I signed like so my first client, obviously, this guy I made 20K from. And my second client, which is called Grant, his name is, I signed from Artisan App alone. So Philip literally sent like a booking link there. He said, "Oh, this guy's looking for an operator." I
sure.
booked a call. I said, why not? And I ended up closing that guy. Now, what happened is, bro, that is why your network is your network. Like, right now, I don't run his offer, but we partnered up and do growth operating together. So, like, does the outreach because he has like 120K followers on IG. So he
Yeah,
he does the outreach with much more authority, and I will run the offer and everything. So it's crazy.
that's awesome. That's crazy how that worked out. He's the mindset guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Neuroscience and everything. But
Yeah,
funny enough, he did growth operating in the past and ran up like millions of dollars.
got
Crazy.
it. Now you're partnered up with him to get clients together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very cool. That's awesome. Um, okay, so let's rewind a bit to where you were. I think I just looked. It was May 2nd when you joined. We're recording this August 12th, so just over 4 months later. What
Yeah.
would you say to the version of you 4 months ago who's like, maybe I'm sure you were kind of in the trenches, you were contemplating, should I actually do this thing? What would
Yeah.
you say to that version of you?
So, great question, man. What would I say? I mean, can I swear?
Yeah.
Like, I would just say, don't be a pussy, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, bro, I've been in this entrepreneurship world for like more than 2 years now at this point, and it's like I've been a pussy, honestly, in sometimes. So I would say the biggest thing that was holding me back is like doing the things that I needed to do, obviously needed to do. I just procrastinated on that. So if I were to go back and tell myself something, is like, don't be a pussy and just do what you're supposed to do every day. And just give it
Mhm.
time. Be patient,
Yeah.
And and text Ben or send Venmo to Ben.
Thank you. You're the man. What businesses did you try, or what were you doing before you got into info?
Yeah, so my first business was SMA, so from Umangaji. So I started that. I was working with e-commerce businesses, failed. And then I changed my niche. I was working with real estate agents. I got a few clients, a few setup fees, nothing significant, failed. And then I saw some guy's growth operating video. And then in fact closed down my agency first, and I was looking for another business model. I saw one guy's growth operating video. And I clicked on it and I said, like, there's no way I'm gonna actually start the first business model I see, right? I ended up starting it, and it's been history since then.
Yeah. Was that so? I know you bought Artisan Lab with the first $5,000 that you made from operating.
Yeah.
Got it. And you got your first client when?
Bro, it's been a while. Bro, I'm a dumbass, honestly. Like, I got my client, literally, I got my client and I worked with him for like 7 months for free. Like, I got nothing. And then I flew out to Dubai to actually sign a deal with him. And then we were under Burj Khalifa and everything. Bro, what he told me, I love him. He's my brother. I will fly out to Dubai, in fact, in like really, really soon to meet him again and fly out to team, actually. Amazing. But he told me that I was gonna get a lower percentage than what we kind of discussed, because we discussed I would get a bigger percentage. And he said like never trust someone or just always do contracts. So that kind of me over. But I worked with him for like 7 months for free, and then we signed the agreement, and I worked with him for like another 4 months, just solely off just him and not doing outreach. So if I were to do outreach, I would have like a few clients by now. But yeah, it's like a
Got
year or so.
got it. And now you're like, you made 20 just from him last month, and you're gonna dive into the outreach trenches and leverage this. I mean, making 200 grand for somebody in a week is a pretty big case study to be able to leverage. So you really
Yeah.
shouldn't have much of a problem getting more clients.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'm in the trenches again, back into it, outreaching relentlessly. So I should be able to, as you said, like, because in the past I was saying like, if I get this one case study, then I'm good, and I got it now.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that you mentioned SMMA and just a different type of agency beforehand, because I feel like everybody goes through that. SMMA served me well. Like I made my first 100K doing that and working with broke basketball trainers that were paying me $1,000 a month retainers. Um, and I think over time you just start to see better opportunities. I think I'm glad that I started there in SMMA, and maybe you are too, just because it helped me build like a foundation of how to run a business. Um, but obviously for you, working with e-com brands is a bit harder than info, and so is working with real estate agents. Not that the service side or the fulfillment side is difficult, but
Yeah.
it's more competitive. It's harder to get results. There's more variables outside of your control. I think what attracted me to Info was like I can control more variables and I can get rev shares, and I'll be
Yeah.
working with people who like you said, your client is one of your best friends. So
Right.
did you kind of feel the same way when you made that transition?
Exactly. You literally told the whole truth. It's like when I was working with real estate agents, my client, for example, one of the clients I had was like a 60-year-old woman with like cats. So it wasn't the best experience. But
Yeah,
now I got this 24-year-old guy that made millions, and I fly out to Dubai to actually run up his offer. Much better.
yeah, totally. Um, all right. I guess what would you say the biggest thing over the past 6 months, if we extend it a bit, what's like the biggest thing over the past 6 months that's taken you from basically zero to now 20K a month?
Time, because like I was always doing the things I was supposed to do, but I just didn't know, or I thought I was supposed to do, I just didn't know what I actually needed to do. So time kind of allowed me to get into that state where I know what I need to do. And obviously the biggest thing I'd say is like investing in mentorships. Like I invested in Artisan Lab, that helped me a lot. Obviously, helped me sign one client that turned into a growth or paid girlfriend and everything. And obviously, with delivering the results for Tom, which is my client, is like helped me a lot. I could ask questions anytime, and everything. I hopped on a call with you, my first call, and everything that just was amazing, really. And then I invested in start investing in more kind of education, more mentorships and everything is
Yeah. Yeah, as much as I love to say Artisan Lab is amazing, and I do think it is, but I think outside of that, just investing in yourself, even if you buy something shitty, it
yeah,
ends up like forcing you to actually commit to it. And
yeah,
that might be the best part of it all, regardless of the information that you learn and the network and access and whatever else. Once you spend money, you're like, oh, like now I actually have to do this. I can't back out.
yeah,
And
right.
it's that financial commitment to yourself.
100%. It was a bit different for me actually, because I somehow always knew I was gonna make more. So the money I invested didn't kind of push me. That's a bad thing for me, but still, for a lot of people it does push.
But you figured like, okay, I might as well invest because it'll get me there quicker.
100%. Bro, before I invested in Artisan Lab, I watched like, how they say that before someone invests in you, they need to watch like 7 hours of your content. I watched like 50 hours of your content. Like,
Oh, wow.
yeah. And the thing actually got me in was your interview with Jace. Yeah,
No
that
way.
that just struck me. I
And
said,
look
okay,
at this. Hopefully, somebody watching this, if you're now like the domino effect of him watching the Jace interview, or
yeah,
of the Jace interview to you, and now whoever on the other side of the screen here watching this, join Artist Lab. I mean, come on, you can.
hopefully, bro. Hopefully it's a domino effect. Hopefully,
uh,
and I will get to Jace's position, like making 200, 300, 400K a month. It's gonna
mhm.
happen soon.
Yeah, you will, bro. I mean, you've done it like. Think about the position you're in with the current client. You've already
Mhm.
made him a lot of money and you made 20K last month just from him alone. All you need to do is get two more ish. Like it could just be one more. But if you get two more that are like that, then you continue to scale with them.
Mhm.
20K turns into 30K, turns into 50K, you're over 100.
100%. I mean, my biggest goal with this company is to essentially kind of productize the service so that I can just onboard 20 clients.
Yeah.
That's the goal, really. But obviously, it
Yeah.
starts with the first three or
Kind
four.
of
But
Hermosi style.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Awesome. Um, I guess what would you say the biggest thing you've gotten out of Artisan Lab is?
Well, for me, as I ran two marketing agencies in the past, failed, but I learned a lot. And so some of the things, like 70% of the things that was explained in the course section, I kind of knew, right? So I just need to get like that, get to that point where I was going to implement that, and then I could watch the courses and everything. But the main thing was the community. Like, because here's the thing, every question I asked get answered by like, I don't know, hundreds of people, however many people are in Artisan Lab. And it's like you answer, Jace, Corinne, Sean, like all the other coaches and everything. So it's something beautiful, really. The community is
Yeah,
amazing.
totally.
Also, the weekly calls obviously is good, but communities was different for me.
Thank you, brother. I'm glad to hear it. Would you say, has there been any time within the last 6 months or like since you've decided that you want to scale info, has there been any point where you almost either quit or pivoted to a different model?
No, no, like I will never quit. Like I will be if I'm never successful, which won't happen. But if I never become successful, then I will be 70 and trying, do trading or whatever.
Uh,
But
you'll probably be building some AI. We might be AI by then, but
obviously, yeah. But there has been some times where I obviously adopted the business model. But I was kind of lucky enough to get in it early so that I literally sent, and my strategy was a bit different with outreach. I didn't send a lot. I just sent like literally 4D messages and I did like 10, 20 follow-ups each, like all day, every day. And so booked like three calls from that 40 and signed one. So yeah, I adapted it before I signed up, but after I signed up, I was good off.
would you say there's anything in particular that helped you stay committed? Like for someone watching this who is kind of in the trenches right now, maybe they are sending a bunch of outbound. Is there anything that you told yourself or anything from your habits that you think helped you just kind of keep tunnel vision?
Yeah. So obviously I always believe that I have no other option. So like there's no plan B. There's only like I will become successful, whether it's this business model or not, but just for the sake of this business model, I need to give it enough time, at least 6 months to a year to see some results. If not, it's stupid to change. But look, I also want to don't I also don't want to glaze you too much, but joining a mentorship in general, whether it's Artist Lab or whatever, is like it keeps you accountable to the people, to your mentors, you know. For example, I wouldn't have had the face to actually show up the weekly calls or show up to the chat if I actually didn't do the work. So that was one of the things also that motivated me kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like an added level of commitment and
Yeah, right.
you can't back out then.
Yeah.
Um, well, awesome, brother. I think again, you're in a really good spot and you're just like you're one or two more dominoes away from continuing to scale. And like for me, getting to 100K a month was way easier than getting to where you're at. Like once I got to 15 to 25K a month, it took me about a year to actually hit six-figure months, but like I went from 25 to 50 within 3 months, and I was between 40 and 70, probably 4 months, like very consistently until almost exactly a year later, I hit 100. So
Yeah.
you'll keep
I mean,
scaling quickly, brother.
yeah, it's just a matter of time, bro. I will hit 100K a month, but let's see.
Yes, sir. Well, awesome, man. I really appreciate you coming on. Thanks for doing the interview,
Of course,
and
brother. Thank you for
keep
reminding me.
scaling.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Join Artisan Lab if you want to be rich and handsome. Anyway, like, subscribe,
Like
comment.
me.
See you later.